Well folks, welcome back to Summoner, where we're trekking through the sewers. Because last we left, Flece and I needed to get into the palace. Unfortunately the guards weren't letting us through. So Flece suggested that we take the sewers, because the sewers can lead anywhere in Lenele, including the palace. Also, I do see a friendly golem to our right here. Let's have a word with him, shall we? Yeah, these golem were constructed by the brass makers, of all people. We'll actually meet a brass maker in the future. He won't have much to say, but we'll meet him. He does give us a fair warning that some of the golem have broken down and have turned hostile. In fact, judging from the fella down the ways there, that's likely one of the fellas that are not exactly pleasant. Also, I've taken the liberty of doing the skill points and a bit of fiery falchion equipped in off screen. Yeah, I'm sure it smells very pleasant, Flece. Very, very pleasant. Especially considering the gigaton of raw sewage running down these gullies here. And we got to walk into that. Gonna need a bath after this one. It's a pretty hot day today as well, so it must smell absolute god-awful down here. Oh. Anyway, these are the broken brass golems. We actually saw these in a random encounter with the fire Salamanca. Well, that fiery falchion doing its work. Very nice. How deep even is this? It goes halfway up my boots. Oh, Flece, you find something to mess around with? This fella here, this is a baby Bacite. It's a bit fucked up that we're fighting babies. But apparently he wanted to greet us with his teeth. I would have avoided the fella if I could. Also this way, barring our path, we see about getting this gate open in the future. Yeah, being hot, it probably does amplify the smell. Also wearing a wonderful sleeveless today. Very nice. Showing off some wonderful arms. The sleeveless being my second favourite item of clothing. My first favourite being the mini skirt, which I happen to be wearing as well. Very nice. Another broken brass golem. Let's deal with him quickly. The golem that we spoke to at the starting area, he mentioned that at least he used the word soul and how these golems have lost their soul. Now, I believe it's some old folklore, a bit of mythology when it comes to golems, the concept of them anyway. I know it's pronounced golem or whatever, but I've always said golem. So, they're constructed from inanimate objects or material. In this case, some metal, brass. And they're given a purpose. In the case of these brass golems, their purpose was to maintain the sewers. But at some point they lost their purpose and have gone rogue. And for a golem, losing one's purpose is losing one's soul. Also a ton of baby Bacites here that we cannot actually get past without engaging in some combat. I'd rather avoid them, but I don't think we'll be able to. I'd rather not resort to violent means. We are benevolent around here, not belligerent. Unfortunately, video games do not allow us diplomacy measures to get past things. I really do wish that was a thing in video gaming, actually. The idea of, instead of fighting and resorting to violence, why can we not just resort to diplomacy? These Bacite, they're one of the most common enemy, if not the most common creature that lives in Medivh. They're actually a very communal, very social creature. They form their own communities. So they definitely got probably intelligence that's on par with humans, actually. If I was in the world of Summoner, I would go with equal rights for Bacites. I would definitely protest equal rights for Bacites. Maybe in the far distant future, Bacites coexist with humans, who knows? Or Sodani, as they're called in this world. That'd be nice to see. Flece? You didn't need to change targets there, but sure. At least you're fireballing like a champ. Very much welcomed. Your health, though. Oh. Get that protect there. Protect's an upgraded bless. Party-wide bless. Yeah, going back to items of clothing. A bit of trivia for you. I could definitely hear the movement of some liquids on the other side of that wall. Yeah, going back to clothing. A bit of trivia. In my world, being naked is actually perfectly normal. Wearing less clothing is seen as more respectful towards your form, as opposed to wearing too much clothing, where you're seen as being disrespectful towards your form. Also, green flames. I wonder if that has anything to do with the sulphur or the brass in the air, or if it's just magical flame. Something to think about. Wouldn't know what the science is behind the world of Summoner. At least how much it relates to this world that we're currently existing in. Also, that gigaton of raw sewage falling through the ceiling there. Not very sanitary. It does look cool though, it does kind of look interesting. Also brown Bacite. 2 brown Bacite. Could get a bit dangerous. Very handsome, by the way. I really, really love the way the Bacite look. Flece? Could you sort yourself a little bit? Getting a bit excited there, it's alright. Yeah, these brown Bacite, they're very, very handsome. Very nice. Very beautiful tail. Very, very majestic. It's a shame we had to attack them. And no, we're not. We are a representation of tailed folk. We shall not initiate heinous, forbidden acts. The tail is a work of art, and we shall respect other tailed folk. So you will not catch me doing some nasty acts. I will check them, however. They do have a 5% chance of dropping a very nice ring. So we'll check to see if they dropped that ring. Other than that, please be respectful. We shall check this middle path, however. Oh, there seems to be a brown Bacite trapped inside. In between these two gates here. No idea how he got stuck in there. I don't know how recent these gates were closed, but unless he fell in from the top, it actually is open up. It's open from the top, so. But other than these goats being closed, these gates, not goats, the goats are cool too. Thank you, Flece, for taking up. You can fight him actually, Flece. I'll heal up. Goats are pretty cool too. Yeah, I shall check them for that ring in case they drop it. But yeah, unless those gates got closed recently, he must have fell in from the top, which is very unfortunate. Yeah, I do wish that we could have more diplomatic solutions dealing with, because they definitely live down here. Obviously, they're living down here for their own survival. Well, they're referred to as creatures of filth. Creatures of filth, which makes sense why they're down here, of all places. Ooh. And yes, there's more baby Bacites over yonder. We don't need to go over there, though. Oh, I wonder if there's anything in that room. We'll see if we can get this gate open. We're not strong enough to lift that up. Another barred off area. See some broken brass golems down there. Let's head over the other side, shall we? All the grime all over the walls, though. Ooh. I wouldn't want to imagine how it smells down here. But yeah, you'd think in modern video gaming that they'd consider giving alternatives. I believe in like Dungeons and Dragons. At least tabletop, you definitely would have the advantages of being creative in how you deal with tackling creatures. Maybe being diplomatic. There's some green Bacite over there. I'll be very careful. They can poison you, so keep that in mind. We can definitely avoid them. No need for conflict. A very nice green flame again. Probably magical. I don't know. It doesn't look like there's anything inside burning, unless it is gas. Maybe gas utilised by the sewage, which would explain why it's burning green. I couldn't tell you. We've been seeing green flames on the walls as well. Some more golems to talk to. Let's have a word. Rooms of wheels and levers. Gates A1 and B1 are brother and sister. If one gate is open, the other must be closed. Yes, those gates down the middle path, they are A1 and B1. And according to this golem, if we open one of them, the other one will be closed. There's a little bit of a puzzle for you. A and B are wheels and levers. I'll find what am I seeking, my good sir? And where would these tunnels lead? The old city, the Renari's ancient keep, harbour, the Dahu River, yes. And the palace, yes, that's where we need to go. Yes, we've met with the Bacite. And the angry brass golems, yes. We've met those too. Some more green Bacite we can totally avoid. Also, these weights here. assist. Well, they'd be assisting for the gates. Yeah, definitely can see how it'd go up and down here. Yeah, Volition definitely put a lot of care in the work of world building. Pile of stones here. Oh, I can't see where they would have come from. The wall there. I wouldn't know. It looks like they've been placed here, actually. But here's gates A1 and B1. Where the Bacite was trapped down. Yeah, I wonder if he fell down there from here. Very unfortunate for him, but we did have to deal with him, unfortunately. So, would you mind opening gates A3, please? Thank you very much. Could you open gates A2? Thank you very much. And for this fella, could you open gates A1, please? Sure. He actually mentioned about how one will have to close. The other will close. It's already closed though, so... Yes, now we have a way down there. We'll deal with that later. There's some frame drops here. I've got to be careful with that. You know, let's go back over to the other side. We've opened some gates up now, so... We should have passage to that other room. Yeah, these green flames here. Let me have an inspection. Very nice design on the... where it's coming out. I'm curious on if they do utilise the gases from the sewage to power these flames. It makes sense. It'd be pretty efficient, I suppose. Let's check out this little room first. It's a very dark little room. Ooh. Very, very dark. There is an item here, however. The green glass shard. Oh. Very nice. Oh, that'd be for the Gamardi lady. Who's going to offer us a gift if we get 3 pieces of ancient Sodani City glasses. I don't know how we would know that they're from the ancient Sodani cities, but... Apparently they used to live in clouds where the buildings were made out of glass. Looks to be like some sort of collection chamber for sewage. Probably before it gets processed. Well, ready yourselves for this. Let's actually show off some kicking, shall we? Yeah, kicking is very effective on these golems. Very nice. So the kick ability, it is blunt damage as you'd expect. The golems are weak to blunt damage. But the interesting quirk with using kick on golems is it will never miss. There is a chance that kick misses when it comes to anything else. But for whatever reason, when you use it on a golem, it has a 100% chance of hitting. Very nice. And it's pretty effective against them, so it's definitely viable. Cannot use that lever there, but we can, however, use this one. And if you're wondering what that opens up, well, let's take a trip back to the starting area, shall we? Oh, we're going to smell after this. Pretty badly. Ooh. So even that ton of sewage come down it, like, even standing where we're standing, we'd still get hit by sludge. I definitely wouldn't welcome that. I wouldn't be entirely pleased going down sewers like this. I mean, sewers in general were definitely not the most pleasant thing, but the sewers of Lenele definitely takes it a step further, to say the least. And yes, the gate here has now been opened. Well, let us proceed, shall we? Seems to be a couple of sentinel besides there, guarding some hole in the wall by the looks of it. Oh, that fire fountain, very effective. There's no point checking the green ones, they only drop potions. Before we check that wall over there, we're going to take a trip down this tunnel. See what we've got going on down here. Huh. Some more company. Some more company indeed. Flece hanging there. Nice kick. Ooh, nice. She's got a kick to her, hasn't she? Quite a kick. Very loud room. Oh. All this pure water. Well, I'm assuming it's pure. Huh. And a broken lever. I'm curious on what that would do. Maybe stop the flow of water for maintenance purposes. Let's have a look down there, shall we? Ooh. It's quite a drop. And probably slippery. I'll be very careful around here. There is an item here, however. The signet ring. Now this would be the family heirloom for the fella in the Crown District. We shall return that to him promptly after our endeavour at the palace. A very loud room though. Very, very loud. Let's inspect that hole in the wall, shall we? I do like that they got these gates here. It's a bit dark down there. In fact, just too dark to even see anything. But it does give the suggestion that the sewers continues even further. Who knows how big the sewers truly is? Where does this passage lead indeed? Now this wall here, actually. Yeah, it looks like it was established at some point. It looks very old. So this wall would have been built here. Probably centuries ago. So the area that we're going into here probably dates back a very, very long time. So these would be very, very old parts of the sewers. Also, more Bacite. Let's see if we can avoid them. I'd like to avoid these baby Bacite. Looks like they're camping down here. Oh, maybe the Bacite have made their nest in these areas. So, are you going to move? I'd rather not fight you, fellas. We are benevolent, not belligerent. He's looking the other way. That might give us a chance. Flece, can you make it pass without doing stuff? Very nice. Got their own little campfires. Regular fire. I don't know what they're burning there. And then you got bits of wood around, so maybe they're using the wood for the fires. Anyway, we find ourselves in a very large room. Let's have a look, shall we? Ooh, that's quite the drop. Also, another one of those giant holes. Possibly for sewage transportation. That'd be quite a long drop, though, if it came from the ceiling here. Which would definitely give a lot of time for that sewage to stray from its path. Not quite making it into the hole. Not pleasant. Let's just be thankful this old part of the sewers is no longer in commission. These fellas with the staff. These are Bacite shaman. And their magic is actually lightning magic. Not that, because we are not heinous, evil creatures. We are respectful. Especially when it comes to the tail. Let me see if I can... No, I won't be able to slip past these. Flece, how about you tackle this fella? Very efficient fighting. You just had to have a jab, didn't you, sir? Joseph, you don't need to cure slow. It wears off pretty quickly. We could definitely avoid this fella here. We're going to have to fight the shaman, though. Flece? I don't think that's incredibly optimal sword swinging.
I am a clever one.
Yes, you're definitely clever, Flece. You're very clever. Flece is very clever, folks. And yes, we can avoid that fella there. She's very clever. Another hole in the wall. Oh. Well, let's deal with them, shall we? Yeah, our characters are a little bit slow, so their attacks take a while to come in. Unless you're using the chain attack exploit, where you can swing pretty rapidly. There's a brown Bacite over yonder. I would like to have another chance of getting that ring, but I'd rather not hurt these handsome fellas. I do like the Bacite, actually. I definitely would make some design choices different from what Volition went for. Just a little bit. If I turned into a Bacite, though, I probably wouldn't be that unhappy about it. I probably wouldn't be unhappy about it. Yeah, speaking of playing as different things in video games, you get these It's just a bit of a ranting coming. But in video games, especially fantasy video games, they introduce these wonderful people and creatures. Yet, they force you to play the fucking humans. Like, well, not that there's many races in the world of Summoner, but it's just a lot of video games force you to play as human characters. Boring fucking humans. Why is that a thing? Why can I not play as the fantastical creatures? I don't ask for much in the world, you know. I'm already stuck playing as a human in this world. I don't need to play as one in the video game world, you know. It's not exactly fantastic. And they're not exactly pleasing on the eyes. So please, devs, video game devs, let me play as other things. This definitely looks like a nesting area for the Bacite. Unfortunately, we need to invade. I really wish we could do a bit of diplomacy, but again, video games, especially of this era, never gave it any alternatives. Well, I mean, in Summoner, there are other methods you can put enemies to sleep. There's also the invisibility trick, which I might show off later. But right now we don't have access to that stuff. It's gonna get a little bit ugly here, with a shaman and a brown Bacite. Let's bless up. Go for the shaman first. Well, at least I do. Ooh, that lightning. I guess that's just an unwritten rule of RPGing. Always go for the spellcasters first. Why? I don't know, I guess spells are seen as more dangerous. Plus they can attack from afar, so... Yeah, I'm sorry fella, you are very handsome. I wish we didn't have to stick swords into you. Very, very dark down here. It does look to be... There actually is water here, which you can't really see, it's so dark. It looks to be like fresh water, actually. Very nice. Let's have a look at these huts. So yeah, it does demonstrate that the Bacite are actually intelligent. They do have their own communities. There is an item here. The ragdoll. This would be for that butcher who lost a doll down a well. Somehow. Definitely looks raggedy. I wonder if the Bacite found it and brought it here for the baby Bacite to play with. Which would be a bit sad that we're coming in here to take it from them. Anyway. This bowl here. Curious on what that's used for. Maybe for food. I'm assuming they use it to prepare food. It seems that these bowls are in every single tent. Is there one in that one too? Yeah, there is. Maybe for food preparation. The Blinding Bucker. Yes, I know it's pronounced buckler, but I've always pronounced it bucker. It's just meat, it's tarly things. Interesting thing about this item here. This is one of two items in the whole game that has a charge effect. This one being the blind spell, which only has 10 uses. I should get Flece up to my level. Absolutely. Yeah, there's only two items in the whole game that have charge effects applied to them. At least items of equipment that you can wear. That being one of them. The second one actually is found in the sewers as well, believe it or not. But yeah, these columns here. I don't suppose a Bacite built them columns. And the stone floor here. So it does suggest that this was built by people probably a very, very long time ago. It's even walled off. Judging by the fact that it's been walled off. It's walled off in an area that has also been walled off. So this area has been closed off. And so has this area. So this probably is an ancient section of the sewers. An actual authentic ancient area. See if we can get around these fellas. Don't get too close, Flece. Don't be an asshole. Just move a little closer. Don't be an asshole. Very unpolite to walk up behind someone. Anyway, let us exit now that our work here is done. Again, it's just a shame we had to intrude. We are the intruders here. And having to... I mean, I'm trying my best to avoid conflict. Oh, come on, Flece. You just had to attract the attention. That is probably his best friend that you killed. They have lives to live as well, Flece. I guess it's just something that people don't think about when they're playing video games. Now, the creatures that you come across do have lives of their own to live. And most of the times they're just trying to survive. Living life, enjoying it. They have their own friends and family. And we are not exactly good guys intruding in this manner. It's very sad. Very sad. Might as well put our swords away, won't be doing fighting anytime soon. By the way, I'm sorry, at least my humblest of apologies, if you're having a hard time understanding my words. I do have a bit of a speech impairment. I believe, I'm not sure if that's the correct word, but... it's not that I'm talking too fast, but more so my words are a little slurrish. I'll try. If it makes you feel any better, I can't understand myself sometimes when I come round to editing this. There'll be a lot of times I'm like, what the fuck did I say? What the fuck was I trying to say here? So it's not just you. But I do try. Anyway, let's go down the middle path. This is the path we need to take. I'm actually going to call it an episode here. Done some good work. In the next, we're going to solve this pretty simple puzzle. And we have Flece take the reins at this point. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed. And I'll catch you in the next one. Have a nice day, folks.